Gajananam bhutaganadi sevitam kapita jambu falasara pakshitam Umasutam shoka vinashakaranam Namami Vigneshwara pada pankajam Shadaranam kunkuma raktavaranam Mahamatim divyam mayuravahanam Rudrasya sunam sursainyanatam Guham sadam sharanam prapadye Ya kundedu tushara hardavala Ya sutra vastravrita Ya Veena Varadanda Madhitakara Ya Shveta Padmasana Ya Brahmachida Shankara Pradubhir Devai Sada Pujita Samam Padu Saraswati Bhagavati Nishesh Jaryapa Om Namah Shivaya Gurave Sachitananda Murtaye Nisha Pranchaya Shantaya Shri Shunandaya Te Namaha Shri Yogananda Dayani Namaha Anandamayi Mataji Ki Jai Ma Namaha Om Sarmangala Mangalye Shive Sarvata Sadike Sharanye Trambake Gauri Narayani Namostute Narayani Namostute
Gurur Brahma Gurur Vishnu Gurur Devo Maheshwara Gurur Sakshat Param Brahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Beautiful. Welcome to the Raja Yoga experience. We're going to spend a little bit of time discussing what is the Raja Yoga path. What is yoga? The sheets in front of you, we discussed these same topics for you to reference at home. And this is essential to understand this path, as this is the most ancient path from the first text on yoga. The Yoga Sutras of Patanjali describes this Ashtanga Raja Yoga path. He begins by saying, and now yoga. Because after everything in life, after family life, after all the pleasures and pains of life, the soul realizes its desire to find the true self, to unite with God. All lives and all experiences lead us to this ultimate desire and wish of this incarnation, that we're so blessed to have this human form, to study the spiritual scriptures, the spiritual path, and advance ourselves. And then he goes on to the second line to describe yogaschitta vritti nirodha. Yoga is the stilling of the fluctuations of the mind, which is very important in considering the Raja path, which ends in meditation and samadhi union. And so all of these practices allow us in different ways to calm these fluctuations of the mind. But there's a specific order to these steps for very good reason. Many, many thousands of souls have all traveled and walked this path, and following these precise steps have been able to achieve self-actualization and unity with God. And they share this knowledge in the sacred scriptures, in their lived experience in their life, and from the gurus as well. And so we'll go ahead and begin discussing the first two parts of the Raja Yoga path, which are the personal restraints and social observances. Yes? So if you'd like to share more.
Sure. Let's just take one step back.
Yes, sure.
What is yoga?
Yes.
Let's start with that before we dive in.
Yes, yes.
Anyone? There's no wrong answer.
Release.
Release. Good.
To be one with the mind and the body.
Mm-hmm. Good. Anything else?
A reunion with God.
Yes. And someone over here?
I just said breath.
Breath. Good. Good. So yes, everything everyone said is good. Okay, it's all part of it. And like you said, union with God or Brahman or the universal consciousness, Brahman Shakti. It doesn't really matter the name that you choose. It's whatever resonates with you. So that is the ultimate yoga. That is the whole purpose of yoga, is unity, right? And the reality is that everything is already in union, just our mind doesn't realize it. So self-realization is actually for the mind, because the mind is the one that cannot perceive the union. Body knows it's already in union. This is why when we leave the body, in yoga we don't say die, we leave the body. So when the body goes into the ground, it becomes part of the earth, because it was already part of the earth, right? If it wasn't part of the earth, it couldn't go back into the earth. So you see, body's already in union. It has all the 5 elements. It's the container for the energy, or the essence, or life itself. So the mind is the one that says, this looks different than this. So it's not the same. But at the end of the day, we all go back to the ground, right? The body goes back into the ground. The spirit continues living, and the mind still tries to figure it out. Okay? So mind and body and spirit are already connected. The practices of yoga bring that awareness. Because see, before you ever practiced an asana, a posture, if you're nervous, what happens? You lose your balance. Tension, contraction, good. What else? You sweat, no? Lots of people sweat when they get nervous. Their heart starts beating fast, right? I'm not talking about in a yoga practice, everyday life. So you see, your mind gets nervous, then the body gets nervous, right? The body gets hurt, and then the mind also adds to it, right? So body and mind have always been together. Your awareness might have not been there. So when you start doing the asana practice or the pranayama practice, that's when you start becoming aware. But it was already in union. So this is why it's self-realization for the mind. Spirit is already realized. Soul is already realized. Everything else that we're doing, one is to keep the body healthy, because then it's easier to concentrate. And then the other practices, like the first 2, yamas and niyamas, is for the mind to become more and more purified. So does anyone know what the yamas are? No?
Yamas are like the moral principles.
Good. Very good. So there's 5. Yeah? So they say they're like the 10 commandments, the yamas and the niyamas, because there's 5 and 5. Okay? The root is ahimsa. The root of all yogic practices, and actually all spiritual practices, is ahimsa. A means no, himsa means violence. So no violence of any kind. That means to others, to animals, and to Mother Earth, and to yourself. So if you look at everything that we'll discuss today, it all goes back to ahimsa. So if you just kept that I will not do violence to myself or others, you would have everything accomplished. And in tradition, many, many moons ago, they actually never taught asana to anyone until yamas and niyamas were firm. Because see, when you have a little bit not purified, that's why the asanas are difficult. Because the energy is not flowing. Right? If the kindness is not flowing, it makes it more difficult to flow in the body. So in ancient times, they would not even show asana until yamas and niyamas were completely rooted in the person. And then they would do kriyas, cleansing exercises, so that when they came to asana, they could do it like the 2-year-old or 3-year-old, right? They can put their foot behind their head. They don't even think about it. So this is why it's also important, because it helps the body also become loose, because everything is in harmony. Okay? So ahimsa, kindness, no violence. Then comes satyam. Don't look down. You know the truth. Okay, don't look down. What is satyam? I just gave a hint. The truth. So no lies, speaking the truth. Okay? First level is not speaking any lies. No telling of lies. Okay? Second level is speaking of the ultimate truth. But first, make sure you don't tell any more lies. Okay? No white lies either. Find something nice to say, but it doesn't have to be a white lie either. Then comes asteya. Asteya. No stealing. Of course, material things, but then no stealing of someone else's peace or your peace. Right? So coming back, being truthful, being kind. Right? You don't do something that's going to steal your own peace, because that's violent and it's not being truthful. So you see, they're all linked to ahimsa. Then comes brahmacharya. Okay? Brahmacharya has 2 meanings to it. Brahmacharya, in traditional form, if you want to wear the orange cloaks, okay, like the monks, it means celibacy. Plain and simple. It means celibacy from the moment you put on the orange cloak and take that vow. For the everyday person, in moderation. Right? But ultimately, what it means is the study of Brahman, the study of the true self, the essence, God, universal consciousness, whichever word you like. That's brahmacharya. It means in moderation, all the pleasures of life. We have to enjoy life, but in moderation. Because if not, we become addicted. And that's with everything, right? You become addicted to coffee, you become addicted to a person. In moderation. Enjoy it as long as it lasts, without abusing it. And then when it leaves, be happy for the experience. Aparigraha. Aparigraha means, in modern terms, I would say, no expectations. The literal translation is no gifts, so not expecting to receive anything. And it has nothing to do with what you deserve or don't deserve. It's for your mental peace. So if you're expecting a thank you after doing something and you don't get it, you become angry, right? You become upset. Somebody does something that you didn't like and they didn't say sorry, you become more upset, right? But if you never had the expectation of the thank you or the sorry, you're not affected, right? So again, I repeat, it has nothing to do with what you deserve, okay? You should say thank you and you should say sorry whenever, you do something by mistake, but don't expect it back for your mental peace, okay? Any questions so far? You ready to practice all that right now?
The names, please.
Sure. And it's on a paper. Did you get a paper?
No.
Okay. We'll give you one later. Okay. It's ahimsa, satyam, asteya, brahmacharya, aparigraha. Did I miss something? No? I'm human, I can make mistakes. Okay. So now comes niyamas. Okay, the things we should do, simply put. So, first one is saucha. Cleanliness. Maintaining the body clean, and the mind. Okay. When I lived in India, it was a very big deal to take a shower before going to the temple. And I asked my friend, I said, why is it such a big deal? I had grown up Catholic. Yeah, you got nice, but I never remembered it being a big deal to shower, no? So I asked her, why is it such a big deal to shower? She said, well, you're going to the temple to connect with God. She said, if the requirement was that you had to have a cleansed mind, nobody would go into the temple. So the least thing you could do is clean the body. I said, oh, that makes a lot of sense, no? So cleanliness, right? Because it helps keep the body healthy. The act of cleaning the body also cleans the mind. Keeping your space clean also does the same thing. Right? It keeps your mind more calm. Good. Now, what's the next one? Santosha. Santosha means contentment. Okay? You might hear it as santosh. It just depends who is saying it from where they were taught. Okay? In northern India, they cut off every single last vowel of the words. So asana, they will say asan. Okay? So you might hear santosha or santosh. Contentment. Meaning, be satisfied, be grateful for what we do have at this point in our lives. It doesn't mean we can't be ambitious or if we want something else, but don't make it a condition for your peace, right? I will be peaceful when I have this, or I'll be happy when I get that. No, be happy now, right? Be happy now. It's the stepping stone for the next thing. So practicing being content. Good. Then comes the last three, which is known as sometimes Kriya Yoga. Kriya has actually a couple different meanings. Kriya, we are going to do a physical Kriya, which is a cleansing exercise for the body and a karmic cleanse. Kriya is also a way of living. So these next three are Tapas, then it's Ishvara Pranidhana and Swadhyaya. Swadhyaya and then Ishvara Pranidhana. Okay? Tapas means austerities. Okay? So practicing austerities, living a simple life. So there are some very specific austerities, like people practice mauna, which means keeping silence, where they won't talk. It's a very great practice. if you're able to do it. I know with work, it's probably not possible if you have to go to the office. But if you're ever in a situation where you can just be in silence and not speak, it's a really powerful practice. It's said that if you can control your tongue, you pretty much have completed yoga. And that is in all aspects, what you eat and what you speak. That is, the more you quiet your mouth, the less there will happen in the mind. And that way you feel more peaceful. But there are many different tapas, many different practices of austerities. And it's just one example. Fasting is a very popular one as well, which is good for the body and the mind, and karma. Then comes swadhyaya. Swadhyaya is the study of the self, capital S, self. Okay? I say that because it's not about the study of your personality. It's about the study of who you truly are, which is your true nature, your true self, the Atman. Okay? The Atman and Brahman are one. Atman is like the microcosm of the macrocosm. So it's studying all the moral texts. And in yoga, they're not just talking about yogic texts, they also read from other spiritual traditions, right? Whatever's going to help you get more centered and more connected. Swadhyaya. Last one is Ishvara Pranidhana. Ishvara means your deity or your version, whatever resonates with you, with the image of God. Okay? Whatever that is. Some people, they resonate more with a physical form, and some people resonate more with a formless form. Okay? It doesn't matter. It's just connecting with that. And pranidhana means surrender. So it's surrendering your ego to that higher being so that you can be your higher self. Good? Any questions? No, it's clear? Ready? Finished? Yamas and yamas were done? Good. So, the 10 Commandments, right?
Yes. Yes, these are very essential. And then next is asana, posture. And this is very important because after we learn how to live with ourselves, how to live in society, then we learn to master the body through these postures and strengthen the mind as well, as these are both linked, interconnected. And these postures not only allow us to master the body and the mind, but they're continue the cleansing process, releasing toxins, releasing impure thoughts, releasing energy. And this is typically where most people encounter yoga for the first time. And you all know the benefits of the asana practice. We all love to go to yoga class, though the asana is also a science of using the body to channel the energy, not just the energy of the physical body, but also the energy of our emotional bodies. And it is essential that the asana is practiced with effort and consistency. And this is because, just like anything else that we study and practice, we have to be focused and determined in doing so. And the body is very tricky when it comes to mastering the body with the mind, right? We know this every time we go to class. We want to go out of the posture. Sometimes we get this craving or clinging to go out. And sometimes the body feels sore or tired. But through devotion and dedication to your asana practice, you learn to really, truly become the master of your body. And with time, you will see much growth and progress in this regard. And from there, only once you have mastered, in Hatha tradition, once you have mastered the 84 foundational asana, then you can move on to Pranayama, which many people interpret as breath or breath control. But more accurately, it is referring to the pranic body, the energetic body and the expansion of this dimension of the pranic body through these controlled breath techniques. And this is very essential because every different spiritual lineage tradition talks about the prana, which is the life force behind all. You can call it chi, you can call Reiki, you can call the breath of life, but ultimately this is all referring to the same idea of this life-giving force. And we know that the breath is a life-giving force because we begin with breath, and when we stop breathing, we leave the body. And so learning to master and channel this breath is essential for development on the path. And this practice is actually one that is traditionally supposed to be instructed by a guru and teacher. Because when working with the pranic body and the energetic body, the practices deal with very sensitive energies. So it's essential to practice correctly. Yes. And from there?
Sure. And then that's again the secret too, if you want to do beautiful asana,
Yes.
become more devotional. It starts coming out better. Okay? If you start devoting your practice, instead of just physically for you, if you give it as an offering, the poses actually come out even nicer, and they come out with less force, right? They come out with ease. But after that is pratyahara. So literal translation is withdrawal of the senses. See, our senses are constantly going out. No? We think that the sound travels towards us. The reality is our senses are going out looking for stimulation. This is why if you ever go to a meditation, all the lights are turned off, right? Sometimes there's no music, or if there is, it's like very mellow, almost imperceptible music. It's to bring all your senses in. Because when you start withdrawing, when you stop stimulating them, right, by the foods that we eat, by what we watch, by what we read, in all the different ways of the senses, they actually become fine-tuned. And then you can hear, smell, and see inner things that honestly are a bit even more beautiful. But until you have that self-control with the senses, there's the practice. So you have to practice in a space where there's less stimulation. So you start understanding that, which is why like these ashrams, like here, is in all this nature. Less stimulating, right, where it's making our nervous system activate. This, in turn, makes our parasympathetic nervous system activate, the one that makes us feel relaxed, calm, and safe. So that's pratyahara. Then the last three, they kind of just shoot up together. Okay? There's dharana, dhyana, and samadhi. Okay? Dharana is first focus. Focusing your energy, focusing your mind until it becomes concentrated. Okay? The difference between focus and concentration is focus is short term. Right? You do something very quick, you're focused. Concentration takes longer. It's uninterrupted. So from focus comes concentration, then dhyana, which is meditation, concentration that lasts a longer time with almost no thoughts. Then that leads into samadhi. Okay? Other people will say nirvana, moksha, liberation, whichever term you like. Okay? It means the same thing, but it leads you to a state. Okay? In everyday life, we say meditation, but really, everything that we do is a practice. So sitting there, quiet, closing your eyes, that is a practice of meditation. Meditation is a state of being. So then it's no longer practice, it's just the way you are. Right? So that what you feel temporarily, it becomes permanent, long-lasting. So that peacefulness, that oneness you feel it 24 hours a day. That is meditation. That is samadhi. Good? Any questions? No? Are you ready for samadhi? No. Good. Thank you for honesty. Satyam, practice number 2. Yamas. We always have something to learn. The gurus always say, you call me a guru, but I am a student. I am a student of life. No? Now the illusion is because we're sitting up here, right? And we're sitting on a little stage. So it gives an illusion of something, you know? But the reality is, we are the students. Each one of you is a teacher. We're learning from each one of you. So ask questions, okay? Don't be shy. But it's an exchange. My Mayan teacher, she says, I am a student of life. And that is all we will ever be, is students of life.